my mathematics class. We are looking at Form 4 mathematics, and during this lesson we are going to revise statistics problems to do with the variance and standard deviation. How do you calculate variance and standard deviation? The first method is when you have calculated your mean using this formula, sum of fx over sum of f. When you have calculated it using this method, variance is got by what? It is got by this formula here, sum of fx squared. It is almost related to this, but here it is sum of fx squared. There is a square there. Divide by sum of f minus sum of fx squared over sum of f squared. In other words, this is the mean that you have calculated in the first step. So this is the mean. So it is important to put this formula in mind. Then learn, after you calculate your variance, it is easier to get standard deviation, because standard deviation is given by what? It is given by square root of variance, square root of variance. And therefore, learner, let us look at a question here so that we apply this formula. In an agricultural research center, the length of 50 maize cobs were measured and recorded as shown below. So you have the table there, the length in centimeters of those maize cobs, and the number of cobs, in other words, the frequency, 4, 7, and so on and so forth. So the question is, calculate the mean, variance, and standard deviation. Calculate the mean, variance, and standard deviation. For us to work out that, we need to put down a table. Therefore, let us draw the table. With this table, learner, you have a table here for marks in classes, and you have the frequency, that is your number of cobs. You put a column for x, x referring to the midpoints, midpoint, because we want the mean, and then we now get another column for fx where you multiply the f times x. Now, learner, let us calculate the mean. So, mean of such a group, because we are using this formula here, is equals to sum of fx over sum of f. Over sum of f. And therefore we need this column here so that we add, and we need the frequencies so that we add. So let us fill in these. Look at this. X is the midpoint. This is form to work. So x is the midpoint. Midpoint of this is 8 plus 10 divided by 2. That is 18 divided by 2 gives you 9. This plus this is 24. So this gives us 12. This plus this is 30. 30 divided by 2 gives you 15. 15, this is 36. So it is 18. This one will give you 21. This one will give you 24. Those are your x's, the midpoints. The midpoints. Then from there, learner, you get your fx's. You multiply this, you get 36. This will give you 84. This will give you 165. You work out such using a calculator. Using a calculator, you should get 15 times that times 18 gives you 270. 270. The other one gives you 168. And the last one here gives you 120. So learner, with this column and this, we can now be able to calculate the mean. You add these, learner, to get the sum of fx. And you also get the sum of f. The sum of f. So what is our sum of f? You add all those, you should get that our sum of f is what? Is 50. Then the sum of all fx is, you add all these using a calculator, and you should add up with 843. And therefore, learner, we come to our formula for mean here. You write that the sum of fx is 843 divided by 50. And therefore, this gives us what? You use a calculator you should get 16.86. 16.86. That is our mean. We go to variance. How do you find variance? Variance is given by sum of fx squared over sum of f minus the mean squared, the mean that you got squared. And therefore, learner, if you look at this, we need a column for fx squared. Fx squared. So we come to our table, learner, and we add a column for fx squared. Fx squared. So you need that column. So you come here and you square the x and multiply by f. Square the x, multiply by f, square the x, multiply with a calculator. With a calculator, what should you get? So this should give you 324. You square this, x, multiply by 7, you should get 1008. So you square the x, you multiply by f, you get your fx squared column. After that, learner, we need the sum. So we come and see what is the sum of the fx squared. You add all that with the calculator, you should get 15,075. 15,075. You now go to your formula here. So the variance will be equal to 15,075 divided by the frequency total. Total frequency is 50 minus your mean. This is mean. Mean squared. So you work out this, learner, using a calculator. You work it out using a calculator, learner. Go and confirm. You should get a 17.2404. And maybe to the nearest two decimal places, you would get that to the nearest two decimal places. So, learner, this is our variance. This one is our variance. So, what is our standard deviation? Our standard deviation, learner, is given by square root of variance. Square root of variance from the formula there. So you find square root of 17.24, which would give you what? You use a calculator, and to the nearest two decimal places, you should get that to the nearest two decimal places. This should be your standard deviation. So you work out variance to get the standard deviation, you find the square root of variance. Thank you, learner. Go and practice. That is how we are able to get a variance and standard deviation using the first method when you have calculated mean using this formula. Let us meet in part 2 so that we look at the second method of calculating variance and standard deviation. Good. Thank you. Go and practice. Bye-bye.